hour has come. We will call to order the meeting. This is the Berea Planning Commission business session, Tuesday, January 13th. Call to order and, oh my goodness, election of officers. Do we need to do that tonight? We don't have a few.
We can postpone if we so choose, absolutely.
It doesn't matter to me, but I just thought if everybody wasn't here, we might.
We need a motion.
Yeah, we'll probably just,
I'd like to make a motion that we postpone the election of officers in tonight's meeting, please.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move that to the next one. Recognize any visitors that aren't already on the agenda for anybody that's not already on the agenda? Everybody's okay? All right. Commissioners, before you, you have the minutes for December 9th, 2025. Look those over. The chair is open for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of December the 9th, 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second. No other discussion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sign those real quick. Okay. Old business, Ridgewood Villas, Berea Property Development. This is a bond letter of credit, $22,275, expires January 28th, 2026. They're requesting extension for 1 year. Do we have anybody speaking to that, or do we just?
we do not, Mr. Chairman, the developer of Ridgewood Villas requested a one-year extension verbally through our office today. And could not be at this meeting this evening. They're entering year 2 of the development. So at this point, they are starting to rent some of the completed units, but still have some work to do in that development. As you know, we've kind of set a 5-year goal for completing these developments. So at this point, the staff would recommend the extension in the same amount.
Amanda, are all the contingencies where they should be and as far as the amount?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. I'd like to,
This one is a primarily privately owned development. So in terms of public infrastructure, sidewalk along Ridgewood Drive is really the only public infrastructure we're getting as part of this project.
okay. I'd like to make the motion that we extend the letter of credit to 1 year for Ridgewood Villas, Berea Property Development, letter of credit of $22,275 to expire on January 28th, 2027.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. New business, 821 Ridgewood Drive, Units 1 and 2. Mark Moody, owner. So this is a minor plat with road request for minimum lot size requirement in the R3 zone. Yes, sir. Just come to the podium and state your name for the record.
My name is Mark Moody. I've owned the property since 2005.
I think it's going to stay now.
Oh, the map.
So Ridgewood, this is over in kind of the Beaumont area?
Yes. It's as you're coming up the street there, the first one on the right.
So for some orientation, I will just provide a little bit of the request here. So I've got a thumbtack on the roof of this structure. And you see the green line that I've just kind of shown splitting the building in half. And the request is to basically change a duplex into a twin home. And so with that, there would be basically three things that would need to happen. One of those three things is the first of those three would be we have to subdivide that lot into two lots. In this particular case, as you see on the plat, the size does not meet the city's minimum square footage for a typical R3 lot if we subdivide that into two lots. So we would end up with about a 3,500 square foot lot and about a 7,200 square foot lot. So that is the request before the Planning Commission this evening. I will just explain what all the process in its entirety entails, which Mr. Moody and I have discussed. Is the first thing would be to seek the variance for the subdivision approval. The second would be to make sure that we separate the utilities so that we don't have any overlapping utilities in each of the units, and to get any associated easements for, let's say, a water line serves Unit 2 and it runs across the yard of Unit 1. We may need an easement there. So for simplicity, we'll just use that example. So establish any easements that are needed. And third would be to change that per the Kentucky Building Code to meet more townhouse style standards. So we would be changing out a 1 hour fire resistance rated fire partition to a 2 hour structurally independent fire barrier, which would meet Kentucky Building Code for separating those independently. So Mr. Moody and I have discussed those changes, and again, this evening we're looking at just that plat request.
Yes. And I've done this in Lexington before and have an engineer architect that has worked with me to meet the fire code to do that work. And so obviously I'm going to put him in touch with Amanda to make sure we meet the requirements, any other requirements that may be needed in Berea, Madison County.
Okay. Questions, concerns of the commission?
So let me ask the obvious question that hits me. What's the why behind
Why is just, I think there's a lack of affordable housing, and so it creates more affordable housing in the area. Just happened to call one day and ask about the zoning and thought, okay, and I'll take the first unit, the smaller one that I'll work on. I'm going to remodel, new appliances, new countertops, and then put the first one up for sale.
Okay.
Other thoughts, concerns? Okay, hearing none. Chair's
One,
open for a
one,
motion.
one quick question.
Oh,
Make sure-
yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, go ahead.
What you're telling us right now is this is one structure? This is one complete structure?
It's a
And it's-
duplex.
It is a duplex,
Duplex,
so
yes.
someone is living on both sides or not?
Yes. Yes, currently there are people, the one is moving out this month, but there have been tenants on both sides
Okay,
for the whole time. Yeah, I've had it,
okay.
for the most
And-
part, yes.
And you're asking us to divide this so that you will actually have firewall between 1 and 2?
Correct. Yeah, and the way that it's built, it's accessible to do that where the walls and the stairs come together, so.
Okay. Okay.
Two-story.
Yes, sorry, it's a 2-story, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-story.
Okay.
So for R3 minimum lot sizes, that would be required to be, the way the regulation's written, because again, R3's intended to be for duplex or 3 or more units, it's written as an 8,000 square foot minimum for the first lot and for the first unit, and 1,500 square feet for each additional unit. But again, now that we're dividing these into separate lots, my professional opinion would be that each would have to meet the minimum of 8,000, which would then require the variance.
Yeah, the building was moved over because there's some power lines that run through there on the side. You have a bigger lot and a smaller lot.
Chair's open for a motion unless there's more discussion.
I'd like to make a motion approving the minor plat as presented for 821 Ridgewood Drives, Units 1 and 2, with a waiver request for the minimum lot size requirement in an R3 zone.
Motion,
I'll second that.
second, Ms. Hagan. Any other discussion? Hearing none, it's all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Amanda, for your help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 2, 301 Mayday Road, Hitachi Estemo. This is the development plan for the South Plant Addition 1.
I'm coming up here.
All right, yes, sir, please state your name.
Hey, good evening. I am Lucas Garrett, civil engineer for the Kleingers Group out of Louisville, Kentucky. We have been contracted by the Bristol Group, who's been contracted by Hitachi Estemo to add a 34,500 square foot addition on the south side of their plant. This addition is going in an existing detention basin, and because of that, we are having to move that existing detention basin to the southwest corner of the plant, essentially in between the property line and the existing pavement. Due to the updated stormwater standards from 2024, we have to provide water quality in this new detention pond and increased water quality due to the 20% impervious, or of the 20%, impervious of 20% of the site. And so that pond is a little oversized in the water quality in order to meet that requirement. It's right off exit 77. Yeah, it's a building addition for Hitachi Estemo. They're going to expand their loading docks.
So that basin there, that is right there at the end of the parking lot.
Yeah, it's essentially, right there in that green spot.
So
Yep.
here's the area where the existing detention is now, where the addition will go. And then this detention area will be moved into this corner down here. And then for the sake of the staff remarks, we have had our development review team meeting. They did meet all the, again, this project was heavy stormwater, not other utilities. And so they did meet all the city's stormwater requirements. And I will have to give Mr. Garrett some applause. They were the first in a long time to have a development plan without any corrections or comments. So we really
know that.
appreciate that.
There you go.
That doesn't happen too often to not have
I
any
like that. I'll
comments.
take it.
So we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So will this extended relocation of a detention basin, what does it do to the, your parking back there in the back?
It doesn't touch it.
Okay.
So because of the plan, we have a singular pipe crossing that roadway, and the plan is to trench that and throw some steel plates over it while they can continue manufacturing and whatnot, and then they'll have to it'll be a phasing plan with the plan itself on how we can move traffic throughout there without, or safely, I should say.
Sure.
I mean, I think the employment's great. but the parking is
They're running out of space quick.
running out of space quickly. Yes, I see that.
And this is for, you said dock extension, is that what?
Yeah, they're adding, I think, 6 loading docks it'll be on the eastern face of this development. So it'll share the same loading dock area as what's already existing. A couple of those will go away just for traffic reasons, but a couple, I think maybe 4 will stay.
Yeah. Okay. Other thoughts, questions? Chair's open for a motion.
I make a motion approving the development plan as presented for 301 Mady Road, South Plant Addition 1.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
I couldn't catch it there, so yeah, right there in that corner. Well, he engineered pretty good. Yeah. They did do a good job. All righty.
Okay. Stony Creek subdivision, Unit 3, Phase 2A. This is the final plat. And anyone to speak to that? Yep, go to the podium, tell us your name.
My name is Colt McGlone. I'm here representing Vantage Engineering and speaking on behalf of Stony Creek Holdings LLC. We're seeking to gain approval of 31 single-family residential lots. All the infrastructure has been completed. We've turned in an as-built as well as a final plat, gone through TRC, received our corrections, adjusted it, and everything's ready to go. And if you look up on the screen, it's kind of traveling north. You can see some of the disturbed soil there. So it's kind of right where her cursor is.
Yeah.
That's an extension of Stony Creek Way, I believe, is that road name.
All right. Questions of the commission?
Amanda, I have a question. Given the length of travel from the front of the subdivision to the back, and given all the construction equipment that's going to be going through there, have we thought about, as we've done in the past, to look at requiring the developer to, fix the road in the event that it gets torn up, or put, some sort of a bond up there to make sure that, the road is in the same condition that it is now, and those that live there, don't have to travel on a busted up road?
We have, we have added a contingency and a bond. If this plat's approved this evening, we will discuss the bond estimate for this, which does include a contingency on final pavement for this particular section of Stony Creek. We have released, this particular section was part of a larger overall preliminary plat, and which was approved about 2 years ago. In that interim, this same developer has completed his previous phase. We've accepted all those streets, and we have really been watching what's happening to our streets during all of this construction. Surprisingly, that with the amount of traffic, they are really holding up well. But to specifically answer your question, we do have a contingency on the final coat of pavement for this particular section that is already paved.
Okay. Well, I hope so, because the city's already accepted the streets in, right? And,
Correct.
And I don't think it's, necessarily, up to the city to repave a street that a developer has torn up. That's why I wanted to make sure it was in there.
Sure.
So let me make sure I understand is that the bond that you'll be talking about this evening is related to this part where he will be constructing.
Yes, that is
Here.
correct.
Okay.
And it has its final coat of pavement.
And can we be sure that the current streets are being maintained and that there's no issue that we need to correct that
To
as
my
well?
knowledge, at least to our office, there's only been one pothole reported. That was to my office. Now, what is being reported to Public Works? Maybe we hear differently. So,
Okay.
again, we definitely go by what actually gets turned in and reported. You know, we also have a lot of city employees out there to drive those streets as we accept them in for city maintenance. Now, of course, we
this is
have
the
done
maintenance
that over
stuff.
small sections to accept
We've
them
already
into city
coded
maintenance.
that twice, haven't we? Yeah. We've already, I'm sorry, Amanda, I was just looking this up on so we've already coded that road, finished it out, right?
Yeah, so what you're seeing on the map is not really accurate other than just where we are in the subdivision. So now this has a road extension. Let me see if I have any more recent photos. No, I don't. So what is shown on this plat, so this is where the existing road ends, and you can see there's just
Stillwater.
a short length of that road that's already installed.
Okay.
So at this point, that road's going to be a dead end.
Yes.
Unless there's development that continues out through there.
So the plan is to continue the Stubb Street. I guess north is rotated, but to the northeast there, that street is actually headed down the hill towards Crestview. We've been waiting on some other approvals. We just actually, Amanda doesn't know this, but we just got those this week. So we are planning to head down that hill to make the connection to Crestview. And then it will continue, like the preliminary plat shows, I think it was 108 lots, and the street, Stony Creek Way, will continue to that northeastern tree line in her aerial as well. So you'll have the Stubb Street that goes down to Crestview, and then kind of where that dirt stops traveling north, it'll bend around with lots backing up to Mountain View Estates and then continue to that tree line running north-south.
So this approval you've got is a full connecting street?
The preliminary
Yeah.
plat, the preliminary plat showed the street ending right now at the tree line on the northeast,
Right.
and then it shows the Stubb Street connecting to Crestview, and then there's an additional street that kind of runs parallel to Stony Creek Way, and it will be constructed as well. But the future extension is, at the time we did the preliminary plat, our owner owned kind of on the east side of the trees. He has since sold that, and another developer's working on that, so I can't speak to what the future plans are over there.
So Amanda, show me the, with your mouse there, show me where the connector is with Crestview.
And then
sorry.
Crestview is in the county, right?
Yes. So that's going to connect.
Not as,
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, so as far as I know, the discussions with the county and the city have still been that it will only be for emergency vehicles.
So it's not a connection.
Well, I mean, it is a connection. We're paying a lot of money to get a street down there for not really usable lots.
Okay.
I mean, if I were to design it most efficiently for our developer, there would be no connection at all. We're making that strictly to satisfy what we can do. It's wide enough that if the county would let Crestview be open, it can accommodate two-way traffic. Crestview, on the other hand, is rather small, and I think that's why the county's apprehensive of letting it connect.
Yeah, I don't think it hang.
That is correct. So it was approved with just an emergency gate.
Right.
Again, for that option to have a place for exiting and entering in those, we hope, very rare circumstances. So the approval of the plat this evening would allow them to start construction essentially on the first 30 homes leading up to that Crestview connector. And then I anticipate that, as you say, work will commence on the remainder of what is approved there with the Crestview connector fairly soon. Yes.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear, that would be the start construction of 31 homes, is what this plat would
Yes,
be.
start construction of 31 homes,
31
yes, yes. But I'm asking the question, will you also be simultaneously working on that connection to Crestview?
Yes, that's our plan. We've been waiting for a long time for approval to go down there, so weather permitting, we will be down there.
That's an emergency only,
Yes. Yep.
so it's not another way in and out of our subdivision.
No. No. It's not big enough.
Not big enough, Crestvew's not big enough.
It's
We would ask that,
Hey, guys, if you don't mind, please come up to the pedestal, get the microphone on, state your name so we can get everything recorded appropriately. Is now a time for a public comment, or is that supposed to be done later?
Sorry, we don't know about this, but we're kind of tired of what's going on.
Okay, so before you all come up, I would like to take a second here, if the chair is all right with it, and explain what we're voting on tonight.
Right, so
Okay.
what you're looking at is, and Amanda, you can jump in there if you need to or want to, but the Stony Creek subdivision, Unit 3, Phase 2, this is just the final plat. This was approved 2 years ago, as far as, we're just kind of seeing the final plat, making sure that they're seeing the lot layout and, where the street's gonna go and those kinds of things. But I'm welcome to listen to what your concerns are and things like that, because I don't want you to feel like you're not going to be heard or anything like that. So I'm definitely open to
Yes,
hearing what you.
I apologize, I don't know how these meetings work.
And
My
then,
name's Wendy Nowak, and I live in Stony Creek on Wildwood Way.
Okay,
We moved here from New York. We were not expecting to live in Lexington. We purposely picked Berea because it was a nice, quiet town. There is one entrance in and out of Stony Creek, and you are building like gangbusters there. That's the big concern. And after that recent earthquake in Kentucky, I just happened to look at a website that shows fault lines. There is a fault line that runs directly under our one and only entrance to Stony Creek. Even a minor tumbler could wipe that out and take how long to fix that road? So we're just here from Stone. I don't know about everybody else, but on the neighborhood Facebook page, people are very unhappy about the building and just the overbuilding. We really weren't aware of what was going on. People were told there were going to be parks where there's now duplexes. But a big concern is that one and only entrance for so many homes, and you're just building and building and building, and then to find out there's a fault line directly under that whole section of street, it's crazy. That's all I wanted to say.
okay. Okay. Is there a different thought on any of this from anybody else, or that, well, we really need you to. It's the best way to kind of do that.
Just to add on to what she's saying, and in my line of work, what I do is safety and
Can you
security.
state your name for us?
Jennifer Young.
Thank
I
you.
live on Middle Creek Way. Safety and security, if you were to have a mass casualty event, there would be no way for the residents in this community, which continues to expand on a daily basis, to escape and to seek safety, or for safety vehicles to arrive to our neighborhood, because we do have individuals who have health conditions that might need emergent attendance, especially during a mass casualty or a security event. That is the big concern about having one entrance. And the thought about the temporary, that's great, and how it may affect the other adjacent neighborhood. But residents, I think, are really feeling primarily concerned that our route of escape is not sufficient to address the needs of this large of a neighborhood. For instance, just arriving here tonight, we sat at the entrance of our subdivision for several minutes before we even were able to get out of our neighborhood. Some of us have there are young children that are trying to drive, that are trying to get out of our neighborhood during times when traffic is heavy out on the main road. My big concern is the safety of not only the residents there, but people traveling up and down the highway in front of our subdivision. That's all I have to say.
Gotcha. Thank you.
We did a traffic study.
Hi, Tiffany Lindsay. I live at 552 South Fork Drive. I feel like a lot of times when we've come to these meetings over the last few years, we've shown up intermittently here and there, but we do talk about it in our Facebook page over and over that we feel like, you know, we come in here sometimes and it's, oh, well, this was approved forever ago. So what is the point of this meeting then? And it feels like we've gotten ignored because several times we've brought up the fact that that entrance is not sufficient for the amount of homes that were already there, let alone to keep adding to them. So the more we come to these meetings and the more it gets ignored, especially considering we don't do this for a living. So how are we supposed to know when to show up and what to say and how to speak out? And sometimes, I mean, call me crazy, but I feel like we got told that that issue with the entrance was going to get addressed before they approved any more homes. I'm pretty sure we heard you say that.
And that has
2 years ago.
happened, believe it or not, that everything that is under construction now was approved prior to
But an entrance,
that time.
another entrance. We were told that nothing else
So
was
if I
going to
might, maybe for the sake of the group, if you're finished, I want to allow you time to finish.
I just want to make it very clear that everybody in this room feels ignored and feels like no matter what we hear, it usually is baloney. And for those of us who live on South Fork, who now have duplexes maybe 30 feet from where my kids play, and I don't know who those are going to get rented to, but we were told that would be a park. So I just want to, speak my mind that we all feel ignored and like this is all kind of pointless because nobody's listening anyway.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jordan Jackson. I live on 326 Wildwood Way. Me and my husband, we have lived in Stony Creek since July of 2021. If I knew what the future had held for this neighborhood, we wouldn't have bought there. I did not anticipate that as many homes were going to be built in this neighborhood as what currently is and will be. And where we live at on Wildwood Way, we back up right to a gas line, and just like everybody else has mentioned, that poses a great threat if there was a gas leak and we all needed to leave. The only entrance and exit out of the neighborhood is severely congested. For people who are coming in and out, especially during those busy like rush hour work times and getting to school, there have been times that I've had to sit and wait over 10 minutes to get out of the neighborhood. I mean, it's such a busy neighborhood. Just backing out of the driveway, there have been times I have sat in my driveway over 3 minutes to even back out of the driveway. And to touch on the quality of the roads that you had mentioned earlier, Wildwood Way is still considered part of like the newer portion of the subdivision towards the back. And it has already gotten like the final top coat, and with all of the heavy vehicles coming in and out with construction, there is already breakage in the road once again on Wildwood Way, just down from my house. And with all of the additional rental property being built, it's severely going to diminish the quality of the single-family homes in the neighborhood, and I think that also poses a great concern to safety as well.
Okay, thank you.
My name's Doug Nowak. I live on Wildwood Way. We moved here 5 years ago Friday. See, the traffic on Wildwood Way is getting ridiculous. When we first moved here, we were told by the state senator, who's a builder, that there would be 86 more homes built further down Wildwood Way and out behind Boulder Court. All of a sudden, they start building over there between us and, was it Herndon Road? Where'd they come from? We moved here, we talk amongst ourselves, we find out about all this stuff after it's passed. Nobody had a plan on what it's going to look like, the finished plan. And that this gentleman here, they're going to build 31 homes. It's fine. People got to work. What's in it for us? You are paying, we have to pay. It's going to cost us a lot of money to extend that all the way out. It's not costing you a damn thing. You're going to get reimbursed for it. You're making money on it. So don't sound like you're the martyr. It's like, is it a sin to have green spots? We were told, now, I don't do slides anymore, but we were told there's going to be parks and places for kids. This is supposed to be a family development. And what has turned out in small families and retired people. And it was really nice when we moved here. And it's getting worse. You people drive cars. How many people you know stop at a stop sign? You got all these stop signs on Boulder Court, and you shouldn't have speed bumps, because that's ridiculous. That affects everyone. But it's like, there's dump trucks fully loaded going down Wildwood Way, and they're not going 25 miles an hour. Some of them are, but you see them fully loaded, because all they're doing is going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's ridiculous. I lived in the suburbs of Chicago for 21 years. And I saw it growing up, and growing up. And I lived less than 2 miles from work. It was a great location. But you get people moving from the city to the suburbs, and that's not a problem. But when they bring their city manners with them, that's where the problem arises. And you're talking about apartments and low-income housing? Or affordable housing. What's affordable housing? I worked my butt off my whole life. 50, 80 hours a week. Came here, retired. And this, we were told, this is the spot. And it's like they're picking a carcass. As soon as they're done getting the last piece of carrion off the skeleton, they're going to go look for other green spaces to build. And it's like, you want this to look like, how many you got? You see what Richmond looks like right before you get to Shell on the right-hand side as you're heading north? All those apartments and houses, does that look desirable to live there? You're ruining the quality of life. We had a beautiful view. We got those gas lines back there. We were told they're never going to build. They're building there. It's like, when does it stop? There's going to be parks there. You got a lot of kids there. Where are they going to play, in the streets or in their little quarter-acre backyard? Then you wonder why they're all fat. They got no place to run around, no place to play. When you first walked in, there would have been a nice green spot there for a nice big park. As you drive in, it says a lot. But what is this for? Are we looking for the tax money? We're already paying 9%. And the extra 3%, I don't see it. What's the end game here? It's, once you build this all up, you're not getting the green back. You could have a nice park. You had a nice view. You could have put a big-ass park where they're putting those, was it 1-acre homes? I don't know, because the story changes every week. Because nobody knows what's going on. And nobody says anything. Do you have a big plan? This is what it's going to look like when it's done. Do you or these guys come at you? I'm not picking on this guy individually, but I'm just saying as a whole. Oh, these builders, they want to build here, then we're going to build here, then we're going to build here. You don't have all. Why don't you plan this out? Isn't that what you're here for? Oh, yeah, we approved this 3 years ago. We approved this 2 years ago. Oh, we didn't find out. Nobody comes around and says, nobody, at least in New York State when I lived there, not anywhere near the city, you got something in the mail. This is what's being planned. If you'd like to talk about, you've never heard anything like that. What is it with you?
But we
You
do
know,
have a comprehensive plan, and we do have, there is some of those types of things that kind of help everybody know where housing is and things like that. And so I appreciate your comments, and we'll everybody's hearing them, so we're all trying to make sure we understand the concern. So we appreciate it.
But basically, it doesn't give a damn anyway, because you're going to do what you're going to do. So it's like closing the barn door after the horses are gone.
Hi, my name is Anastasia Pixler. I live at 532 South Fork Drive. My husband and I bought our house a little over 8 years ago. I was pregnant with our first child, and one of the reasons why I wanted to purchase the house was because we were told that there was going to be a neighborhood, or there was going to be a park in the neighborhood as soon as you entered. There was this beautiful green field. It was supposed to have a playground for the kids, walking park, like everything. And what was it, 2 years ago, it got approved for apartments. So that's my backyard now, is apartments. We have had citizens show up time and time again to say that we've had issues. You can see the look on their faces and watching our heads nod when we find out that these meetings happen last minute. But we're all kind of sick and tired of coming here and pleading with you guys, and then you guys are like, okay, well, we're still going to approve of this. I understand that none of y'all live in the neighborhood. We do. We have elderly parents who live in the neighborhood. We have young children. We have hundreds of families. It's funny that your map doesn't show the housing right now because they throw a brick and like 30 houses multiply. Like your maps can't even keep up with what's being built out there. And you guys approve, what was it, 200 units for the apartments now, even though we had residents come up here and speak about, hey, okay, let's assume that there's 2 cars for each apartment. That's bringing in 400 more vehicles in already a location that we're all having issues with anyway. But you guys keep approving it, and we keep feeling ignored, neglected, everything. And it's so frustrating because I know for my husband and I, his VA loan, he's a veteran and he works out at the depot. We got such a great interest rate with it that now we're stuck. There's no way with inflation, with everything going on, that we can move from it. But regardless of wanting to come up to ask for 31 more houses or apartments that are going to be built off Wildwood Way, there needs to be a second entrance and exit, not just for emergency vehicles. There needs to be an exit because, yes, emergency vehicles do need to come in, but so do we, because we have families that we have to get to. And again, none of y'all live out there. Even the builders, nobody lives out there, so they don't have to see the mess that they've created, the beautiful lies that we were sold to buy one of their houses. And now we're stuck. And it's so frustrating when a second entrance and exit isn't more important, our safety is not more important, because it doesn't benefit the builders financially. Building more houses and apartments gives them more money, and an entrance and exit doesn't. So I am begging you guys. There was a poll that I quickly created on Facebook. We have over 600 people in our Facebook group. 100% of this quick poll that I created an hour and a half ago, 100% of residents have said no more building until there is an actual exit and entrance built. Not plans of it, but actually built. Please stop approving this. Like, please, because it is very frustrating to live in a place like that. So thank you.
All right. Thank you for the comments. We appreciate it. This particular body, I don't know that there's an answer that can come from us as far as
I
the.
I can provide if now is the
Okay, sure, yeah.
appropriate time. I can provide a few answers to some of those. Colton, you might want to have a seat again. Sorry. In terms of a second entrance, just for the sake of the group, when Stony Creek, well, first let me start here. Stony Creek was originally proposed about 20 years ago. And on that original approval, that was a preliminary plat, and that showed 5 different connection points. What we found over time is those 5 different connection points had, so we know we got the one on Wildwood Way, and that's a boulevard entrance. Bigger than entrances to most subdivisions, but what we found in trying to connect to all 5 of those other potential connector spots is that there was a legal reason that we could not connect. So whether it was a deed restriction, whether it was, in one instance, it was the state telling us. So if you'll see there, so there was another entrance shown just to the south of this one. That one we got turned down by the state because of the proximity. So I will tell you that well, my map has frozen up, but the connection to Crestview Drive, which this will be the development that gets us to Crestview Drive, which is our only option, legal option for a connection. This particular developer, who has had that daunting task to get that approved, has had to wait over a year on state and federal permits that were required. That caused, obviously, a delay. The development we fully anticipate that there will be a connection made to Crestview Drive. Again, that does connect to Madison County. Because we connect to a different planning unit or a different jurisdiction there, they have a say. And so what they have been agreeable to at this point is an emergency entrance, again, that would provide an alternative. We have had 2 different, not this group, but different developer group, has had 2 different traffic impact studies done by 2 different engineering firms out of Lexington. They have come out, they have done traffic, they have counted traffic on several occasions. What the information that they gave us is that in their findings, and that's been presented to the Planning Commission, or at least the studies given to them, the findings were that we recognize the left-hand turn is going to be a challenge. The left-hand turn out of the subdivision is the most complicated turn that there is there. We recognize that. Unfortunately, at this time, the the intersection does not meet the warrants, or it does not meet the needs to require a traffic light.
So why do you keep approving if you didn't have it?
As development continues, those warrants become more, and it gives you the opportunity to apply for grants for road improvements. And it gives you the opportunity, but at this moment, again, if we ask, we wouldn't even get it. We've been told we wouldn't get it. The development in its entirety, in terms of, we do plan for development. We do, as the chairman mentioned, we do a comprehensive plan every 5 years. We do ask for residents' opinions. We actually have one of those meetings coming up soon. And that is, we sure do. We put it on Facebook, and we post it in the news, it's published in the newspaper. Okay. So we meet all the legal requirements for posting all of our notices. It is a state law how we post everything.
Guys, Amanda is trying to be kind
Comprehensive
and help.
plan.
Is making a lot of excuses and saying that there were a lot of things that we said we were gonna have, they were gonna be there, but then that we didn't get them. Then you shouldn't have approved things before you knew that those connections existed. But the bottom line is, and everybody here knows it, that none of you cares. I'm so glad that the developers got their studies done that benefited them. So glad that they paid for that, got studies done that went in their favor, made it look good. We know it's a hard left turn. Great that you've acknowledged it. Do something about it before you approve something else. And no, I'm not coming up to the podium. Y'all don't care about us, you wanna ignore us? Every time we've come in here, I'll ignore your podium.
Okay, well, we're trying to get some answers, and
None
then,
of those were answers. Did anybody hear an answer or a lot of excuses? Because I heard a lot of excuses.
My concern is the fact that it sounds like there's never gonna be more than one entrance, and our only alternative is gonna be a traffic light, which is not gonna improve the safety and security of our community, because mass casualty events happen. They happen all over the world and the United States on a random, frequent basis. What are we gonna do if there is an issue in our neighborhood? How can your residents escape? Safety.
And every time I have been to one of these meetings, every single time, what I hear is, this was all approved 20 years ago, so we have to stick to it. There were supposed to be 5 feeders that were, when this was approved. And none of them have come to fruition. So why did you approve, let everything else happen if the feeders didn't happen?
Do any of you live in that area?
Of course
When's the
not.
last time you were over there?
I live close to it.
Do you think it's improving now as opposed to before?
I've done service work 40 years in this area, and I know the streets pretty much, yeah. And I've done work in the area, yeah.
It's a great place to live. but they're making
It's a
it
beautiful,
worse.
I mean,
And, oh, we had all these exits lined up. Well, then why didn't
We-
you suspend building until you get another exit?
it's recorded every,
You have a fall line there, you got a blind fall line there, you got the high-powered, gas lines going through there.
I may have misspoken. There was an option for up to 5 entrances. Let me rephrase that.
Options don't do you any good when you gotta get the hell out of there.
They're not viable options, they're no longer options.
Until they weren't, now they're not options, but you kept approving all these
So,
houses and
you're waiting
apartments.
for a disaster, then you're gonna fix it.
How do we stop approving more houses? How do we get you to stop approving?
Yes.
You're the planning and zoning department. How do we get you to stop until we get another exit?
Apparently you
Once
can't.
we
It
get
was
another
all approved
exit,
20
then
years
we start
ago,
letting them build some.
but we keep approving it again, but yet we can't not approve it? 'Cause none of that.
Again, I would just say this is the attempt to get us built out as to Crestview Drive, which currently is our option.
They've already said no.
That neighborhood said no, and I get it. Residents, that will not benefit the current residents when you put an exit that is not open to the public. That is no solution for us.
Yep, so continuing to say it is.
We had an accident down there at our entrance, and traffic was backed up both ways, and we couldn't get out. That's just one accident.
We have
What if there
babies
were
and
an
elders.
emergency at that point when there's one accident and someone needs an ambulance at their residence?
Yeah.
An ambulance could not respond to a resident in their home.
Oh, but remember they approved the public storage units, which would also a gas station too, so let's just keep approving.
Yeah, that's it. This was the storage units.
So
You just say no for
He's ready to make a motion.
what we
Mr.
need to do too, I'm curious, just are there other options as far as what the county and state meetings and options for these folks to be able to get some of these details heard? As far as, because I know the well, but and
They
I
can't
think
hear
they
you if you weren't
do. I
podium.
mean, just like some of the traffic studies and all these things, they you know, you can only go by what the statistics tell you, and that's what they're telling us as far as whether it's a traffic light or it's another egress or ingress. I grew up in a neighborhood that only had the one entrance and exit, and so and it was a concern then too, and it's.
Isn't this your role as city council to hear us, like city, our little residents here, and then you guys relay it to the bigger groups that you're saying? Like, if you have to get the approvals or the permits federally, statewide, whatever it is, isn't that what city council of Berea is supposed to be civic-wise? Is you guys hear us, the residents, and then you relay that to whoever is y'all's superiors?
Ma'am, this is the planning commission. This is not the body of the city council.
Okay, but you
So
guys
they
are
do
sort of
have
ones-
different roles.
Mr. Chairman?
No, so
Can I make a motion?
just to answer the question, we do not report to the city council.
Okay,
No differently than they do not report to us.
okay.
All of us that are on here have been appointed by the mayor.
Okay, so we don't vote for you guys, we vote for them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so to give, maybe let's put a bow on this, to give some historicals on this. I was on planning and zoning 20 years ago when this came up. And I feel for the concerns about parks. I feel for the concerns about that it was going to be a planned urban development, okay? Which also would have retail, would also have all kinds of stuff in there. And I'm as frustrated as you are. I approved it 20 years ago because I saw two ways into that place initially. And I can tell you, I feel your pain. I do. And I question, some of the questions I have with the development that continues is the integrity of the roads. I also have concerns about the traffic. I also have a great deal of concerns about infrastructure when it comes to police and fire protection. And I've asked the question to the developers, how much more is there going to be? Because
We ask all the time.
every time. And I don't know if the city can, if there were some catastrophic fire out there, would be able to do something about it. That concerns me. And the more homes that we continue to put in there concerns me. Greg was talking about a development that he lives in. What he's talking about is Roselawn and Dixie Park. And that development has one way in. And I can remember 20 years ago when this development came up, me, George Oberst, and others were like, hey, we're not doing another Roselawn and Dixie Park. No offense. I want to be able to see two entrances and exits, to make sure the traffic can flow. Now, given the fact that it's built on US Highway 25, causes another problem. Now, for example, if you look at Suncrest Meadows, out on Bratcher Lane, there are at least 3 if not 4 ways into that, but we're connecting to a city street, not US 25. But I hear your concerns, and I promise you I voiced them. And you can ask Mr. Short, I have for over 20 years. And I'm at the point now that I think that my recommendation to you would be to talk to, well, wait a second, just wait. Talk to Mayor Fraley, first off, and also talk to Jared Carpenter. Yes, I would also talk to Reagan Taylor. He's the county judge executive, and ask him. We need some relief here. You know, what needs to be done to connect those streets to where it's not, you know, either a cattle, you know, some sort of cattle fence or a chain across it with a lock that's only going to be used for in the event of an emergency. That would be my recommendation to you. And I thank you for coming. I thank you for voicing your concerns, and I get it. I do. Well, sure. Well, if you have access, you know, to the internet, just look up, you know, the Madison County Fiscal Court. If you want, I'll give you Reagan's number. How about that? You can call him. I'll give you his phone number.
What you said, it makes a lot of sense. But that's like the last line. What about the first lines? It's like you've all failed. You've been failing along and just keep pushing it down.
Well, you moved here from out of town, right? Why did you move to Brea? My father lived here for 80-something years, and then one thing he always told me about Brea, why he always stayed here, I think, is quality of life. We got great quality of life here. People are moving here. We do have some issues. We have talked about this every time it comes up. But these guys has already paid and already put their money in the development and stuff like that. And then we talk about, well, we got a housing issue. We don't have enough housing and stuff like that there. So our hands is kind of tied and stuff like that. And we know, I mean, I work in that subdivision for many, many years and stuff there and getting out of it. And I understand. And every time we talk about it, we bring it up, housing study. Traffic studies. What can you do? Do something about that. We know. We drive through there too. That I guess, I don't know, basically we're kind of tied in certain what we can do there, but, and yeah,
So the
it's
depot's
good
in
that,
the final phase of shutting down because I'm tied with that. When the depot is gone and the money is gone, I don't think people realize what a huge economical, hit it's gonna
you're
take
right,
Madison
100%
County.
right, yeah.
Then you're gonna have the families who are following the depot jobs, following the government contract jobs.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna have a surplus of houses. And I'll tell you what, the final phase, they're getting ready, they're rifting people in 2 weeks. So it is now the final phase of the depot. We are, the city, the town is gonna get hurt economically. Please stop approving these houses. Because you're not gonna have people who live in the area to purchase said houses. You're gonna have a ghost town.
And this thing of, oh, well, we talk about it. Oh, I'm so glad you realize there's a concern. Why have you not done anything about it? Just
We're limited what we can do.
You guys can
We've asked for traffic studies and stuff like that, and Amanda has done it. We've got it right here online. We just got.
Yeah, we don't see that.
Well, I mean, it's, for us, I don't know, can you send it to them?
And again,
Can
all
you
the
take a
traffic studies
poll on
we've
us?
been told of
Yeah.
are the ones paid for by the developers and the builders. Of course those would go in their favor.
I can speak. I'm not an expert on traffic analysis. I'm not the engineer who performed the study. But, I'm also a licensed engineer, and our obligation's not to the developer. I'm licensed by the state, and I have a legal obligation to uphold my license. So I can't speak for those individual engineers, but I can speak.
Work for the developer, or what was your purpose again?
I'm a site design engineer. I said I didn't perform the traffic analysis for the developer.
Then again, your opinion isn't helping here.
Yes, because I'm licensed. I have a governing body.
That doesn't mean you're partial. You're
That does mean I'm partial. That's how my license works. I mean, it's the same way her husband, he goes to the military. He is impartial, but you don't have to choose to be impartial. I mean, that is a legal obligation you have. A member of the service is a lot more, what is it?
You're also human, so
Yeah, okay,
the
yeah,
comparison you're making is no reason it's not.
okay.
All we've heard is that you guys approved it 20 years ago. Ever since then, you've been going, yeah, sure, keep doing it. Yeah, sure, we know there's problems. Keep going. So you basically just told us that you guys didn't really do anything to stop it when you saw problems. But yeah, sure, we'll happily take this to city council. We'll happily start picketing. We'll happily start sharing this on social media that we've all been here, that we've all talked about it. And then we'll talk to people who do get voted in. We'll make sure everybody knows that we've been ignored time and time again. And that our concerns should have been truthfully known. Because otherwise, what is the point in holding public meetings? That's what we're supposed to be able to do, is come in here and tell you, and you ignore us. Instead of taking the concerns on to the mayor or the rest of city council, you don't do that. You just keep going, oh yeah, we know there's a problem, let's improve it. So thanks for telling us that you're all completely useless. I'll be happy to take it somewhere else. And I'll be happy to share it with the media, and I'll be happy to call every news outlet that I can get a hold of. Here's the note. Meaning every time we go someplace else, yep, every single time. And you guys do it.
Y'all are first place to listen to. We've been here before, so we know we get frustrated. So we tried other places, and we can talk from here. And you all tell us you can't do it.
Is there any way, you having mentioned all of the people that we should get in touch with, is there any way you can do a group email and say, hey, maybe you guys ought to call a meeting and let people come and hear how the voice is heard?
Who runs your all's, who runs your all's Facebook group? So we can probably send it to them.
So, yeah, I think we can exchange some information and get some of that information.
Yeah.
The one who runs the Facebook group, I can get it to her. And let it be known also that we were told about the neighborhood part. Apparently, so Mr. Short actually told me to my face there would be a neighborhood part. But apparently it's written in our paperwork that we were to establish an HOA to get that done. But then nobody relayed to us that we were supposed to have an HOA, and now, again, you've seen how many houses, apartments, duplexes, townhouses that you guys keep approving, even though you said you already approved it 20 years ago, but you still have to vote and approve it now. You're seeing that now there's too many people, there's no way to create, we don't have a voice. We come here to voice our opinions to y'all, but you guys keep approving. That's it, we literally just please, right, please don't approve more houses and apartments. Let our safety be the first priority that you should approve, that you should get in order. And if you can't do that, then help us get to who we need to do this, who is.
I think what we need to do, we definitely want to do that part. We want to try and get you in touch with people who can deal with those issues and answer those questions. This body has in front of it a plat that we need to address tonight. And at this point, that's pretty much where we need to go. So we need to
If anyone votes and all in favor to approve it, and you guys didn't listen to us for the last hour, then I don't know what to tell y'all.
Can that not be deferred? You deferred voting on something else. Can't you defer that for till another meeting, till we've had a chance to talk to somebody who can actually do something?
Well, we have to just see who's going to, what the motion would be. You know, and it could be a motion to not approve, it could be a motion to approve. But the plans and everything that are before us tonight, meet all the criteria of the comprehensive plan and our housing needs that we've been trying to address for the last 10 years. So there's a lot of things that it addresses that have been on the agenda for 10 years. But I definitely, we want you to be able to have the elected officials that need to hear what your concerns are to make sure that gets to a county and state level, which I think are where some of those answers might lie, with where entrances and exits and traffic patterns and all those things can be discussed.
Okay, then if you guys are trying to approve these 31 new houses, please don't approve it. Clearly, we don't want that. Please don't approve it. If that's y'all's job or volunteer work, or whatever the official title is.
And I understand that.
Let me say one thing. So I look at, and I can't speak for everybody else here, but I look at my role on here as somewhat of an umpire. I'm calling balls and strikes, okay? And when I look at a development, does it meet, the comprehensive plan? Does it meet, fire, engineering, all the different approvals, utilities, whatever, everything that goes into it? It's a challenge to say no. Given when I look at the subdivision regs, when I look at, the ordinances that we have, if it meets, the criteria of what we're looking at this development, it's a challenge to say no.
Can you not step up to the challenge then?
We haven't voted on it yet, have we? So that's my view of this. I mean, I get it. I do. I get it. And I thank you all for coming.
Is there a criteria for safety? Because it's not safe for us. There's an incident, it's not safe. So is there a criteria?
So,
This-
Amanda,
Hey,
tell them
Roxy.
about the sign-offs that go on to any development plan that comes through.
Yeah, for any plat, any new development, I will say, first of all, development shouldn't be a surprise. There is a lot of planning that goes into it. As I started to say there a few minutes ago, one opportunity that citizens have that's coming up very soon is Thursday, February the
It's the
19th is at the Berea Gallery and Event Center is a comprehensive plan public meeting where we are asking people's opinions about lots of different things, including land use. If you look at zone maps for the city, this particular area has been called out as a planned unit development. So if you ever did any due diligence to look at a map or anything that was coming next to you, you would have seen that at least it was zoned appropriately for future development. And then what happens is when these developers come to us and their engineers with their plans, we have a list of criteria that they have to meet that goes through sewer, water, city engineer, codes and planning, GIS. There are people review it for traffic. There are people reviewing it for, as you said, life and fire safety. So all of these things come together. We have a group of 16 people who review plan, not including this group, who are the technical reviewers for these projects. It is very much the case in the state law that says if you meet the requirements of the city, we have to approve the development. Now, all of those things are put into place, and there's a lot of different moving parts in those. Again, a lot of the comments about the existing entrance that's there. The reason that was done as a wider boulevard entrance, which is essentially the same as 4 lanes going across there, is so that in those emergency situations, you do have the option to shut down one side of it. That's what would happen in that emergency situation, is that we would shut down one side of it. Again, we do look at these, police, fire, they're also involved in our development review teams, meetings, stormwater, something I also didn't mention. Anyway, again, just a whole host and a whole lot of areas that we look at these developments for. And again, not really an unforeseen, if the land is zoned that way and they meet the requirements, then we don't have this body as planning commission really doesn't have the option. Now, where we do have discretion are on those, again, in those situations where we can't meet the technical requirements of the regulations. I would say, again, in this particular scenario, we are at the juncture where this developer has committed to getting a second, at least connection point to an outside place. We have all expressed that we need, and we know we need, we know we want another way to get in and out. And I am very sorry that today I can't tell you that's built and I can't tell you that's passable for you at any time. What I can tell you today is that we have a developer and an engineer willing to invest their money, their time into providing that for you as soon as they can get approval and build it for an emergency gate.
In the meantime, why would you keep building and putting more houses in that area when we only have one way out right now?
So while it seems like it's the same conversation, the way development works is that 2 years ago, they came to us with this plan. 2 years ago, we had this conversation that we needed another way in and another way out. 2 years ago, we figured out that the only way.
Why would you approve more houses when you don't have another way in or out?
So it has taken that time to be able to, everything that is being constructed, as I said, the very first thing in this meeting, everything that is being constructed now was approved prior to this particular development.
But with the caveat of there being 5 access points.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. They were all approved. They were all approved.
But they're not possible.
The first phase,
They are a wish
Yes, right.
that you cannot grasp.
so the way plats work, again, they came in 2 years ago to ask, with a conceptual, to ask for the approval. They gave us all the engineering, all the design. It has taken that time to be able to build out this road, to be able to start building these houses to get to that connection point. But again, and that's just the way development works. You have a preliminary plat. The preliminary plat's the conceptual. That's the time to say, does this make sense to connect to Crestview Drive? And at the time, we decided that made sense to connect to Crestview Drive because we couldn't connect anywhere else. And it's taken until now to be able.
It's not a benefit to your residents that they cannot utilize.
It sure is. I've heard lots of people talk about what are we going to do in an emergency situation. So I have to believe that at least will help.
We just barreled through. We've got teenage drivers pulling out on Highway 25 that's already had to become a 4-lane on down the road because of the number of traffic that cross that area. That it is unsafe, whether or not your study approves the fact that it might need a light, which is not really gonna solve the residents' problems. That's probably gonna slow things down even further. And you're talking about, you could take, you built out where it's approximately 4 lanes on our entrance. So one side, if it gets shut down, what happens if there's a wreck that shuts down both sides?
And that happens to us a lot on the interstate. We deal with that a lot on the interstate.
Experienced that myself.
Yeah, we deal with that a lot. Unfortunately, sometimes we just have to sit in traffic, yeah.
Okay, but then if a resident inside, when the roads are shut down, has an emergency, which we do have, obviously people who have medical conditions that live there, that's not gonna be a Band-Aid to them when they are.
Well, that could happen anywhere, Kathy. I mean, that could absolutely happen
They're
anywhere.
gonna have to pull in an exit on Herndon Road. That's basically what you're saying.
You control Herndon, I would know.
No, it's got the gas.
So they're not doing anything there. It's barely wide enough for 2 cars now. So you think they'd start prepping it, because that's what we're gonna have to do. And you don't think anything happening there. Cause you don't want another one on 25, cause it'd be too close together.
You Can't do anything
So,
here, it didn't cost the
you're
county.
gonna have to make Herndon Road at least
Yeah,
wide
yeah,
enough
it's a,
with the shoulder
it's a main,
so people can, but they're not doing anything there. If you suspended all building until they had another entrance and exit, it'd be up within a month. But it's like you're just kicking the can down the road.
So there are portions of this, just like she was saying, there's, these things meet certain criteria, even if it's voted down tonight. It doesn't mean that the developer couldn't take it to court and say it meets all the criteria, and legal opinion would pass it.
So then we just need to start telling people don't buy a house in our neighborhood.
Well, I think what you're doing is commendable, and you're doing some of the right things. And I want you to, I'm glad we heard it all tonight, but we are not able to make the changes that need to be made. It's more of a state and county level. It's the elected official level. It's getting in touch with senators and representatives and saying, you know, these roads, you know, I agree. Highway 25 between Berea and Richmond's, 25 years behind the times with where it needs to be.
Well, then,
So
if you were picked by the mayor, is that correct?
Appointed,
we are asked to serve, yes.
Okay. Well, then, talk to him for us, like.
Oh,
I
he's
can
going to hear
assure you
about it.
we
I mean,
do.
there's no doubt about it. He's
I
going to
can
hear about
assure
it.
you that we
Yeah,
do,
but-
and I can assure you that we talk to KYTC.
I'm just telling you that tonight, that what's on the agenda, what's before us, may or may not get approved.
he said
But
he
it
asked
meets
you
all the
again.
criteria to do exactly what's supposed to have been done, what's been on the map, for better than 2+ years. And I just don't want you to feel like if that's what happens, it's because we just didn't want to do what you wanted done. I wanted to hear what you had to say. I wanted to hear what the concerns were, and we've heard it, and we're gonna try and make sure that other people hear it and see where it goes. But no matter what happens here tonight, we can't just stop these things that are already meet the criteria and for approval. But there are motions to be made, there are decisions to be voted on, and we'll go from there. Okay? So, the chair will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion approving the final plat of Stony Creek subdivision, Unit 3, Phase 2A as presented.
Got a motion on the floor?
second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion among the commission? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. So, Stony Creek subdivision, Unit 3, Phase 2A, bond amount approval.
All right, so you have in front of you a bond estimate. So you see that there's a beginning number here of $347,826 and some change. That is the current bond amount for Stony Creek Unit 3, Phase 1. That particular subdivision has now been completed, accepted into city maintenance. So the developer has requested, or I'm sorry, the owner has requested that we transfer that bond basically to Phase 2. So you see the $73,074.34? That is the total bond required of that. So they will basically keep that bond in the same amount, the $347,826, but we will only use a portion of it toward this phase. And then they will keep that remainder as it's just exactly as it's stated. It's a current bond overage to be used on future phases. So that would be that Crestvuda connector point.
So you're asking for the approval of the 73,000?
So that's what I was gonna say. This evening, we are asking for approval of a bond amount for Stony Creek Unit 3, Phase 2A, which does include 20% of the retainage for the top coat of paving. It includes all of the sidewalk, and there was one outlet structure in a detention area they couldn't install simply until they got that permit that they got this week. So we think that'll happen soon, but we did ask them to include that in the bond estimate.
Okay.
So,
I'd like to make the motion that we approve Stony Creek Subdivision Unit 3, Phase 2-A in the amount of $73,074.34.
I second that.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you all for your patience, and thank you for putting in good work. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, commissioners. I have nothing else. Anything else from?
just a reminder of our comprehensive plan public meeting. Again, there will be a focus on land use, and that meeting is Thursday, February the 19th. We would ask that, community residents come out, give us some thoughts, and look at our maps, and this is the time to give input on what might be developed around you, in and around your areas. So we would ask for citizens to come out.
And what time is it? If that's okay, you don't.
I'm gonna have to post
That's
the
okay,
time
that's okay.
later. I can-
I'll put it on my calendar.
5:30 to 7:30.
Okay.
Any other comments from commissioners? I do hope that those folks have kind of cleared the room. Maybe they're outside, but maybe we can make sure we can find out whoever the Facebook or the email person.
Yes, and send that to them, please.
And make sure we get some of those. And hopefully
Send it to them every day.
people have
if you
heard
have to.
what's going on tonight, and we can get some real answers and some real work going forward. So, did you have something? Oh. Okay. Entertain a motion for,
Make the motion that we adjourn this meeting, please.
I'll second it.
motion and a second. All in favor,